Easily the winner of the nicest art in the set award, although is kind of a tough competition given how well Rise of the Duelist actually looks in terms of the art style. Titaniklad, the Ash Dragon, is today's card of the day, and it is a really, really cool card, at least on paper. So this uses Fallen of Albaz, which we talked about yesterday, and any monster on the field with 2,500 or more attacks. So basically, if your opponent controls pretty much anything they're summoning from the extra deck, or even a big boss monster, you can use Albaz and that monster to fusion summon this guy. Then he gains attack points equal to the levels of those monsters times 100. Also becomes unaffected by monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. And then if he's in the graveyard, you can grab a Fallen of Albaz or Dogmatic, a monster from your deck, and either add it to your hand or special summon it. So he does a lot. The only problem, of course, is that depends on where you fall on the spectrum of Fallen of Albaz being really good. I like the card a lot. I think it's going to see play. But at the same time, I know that the Dogmatic decks are kind of foregoing him entirely. Especially because you can use him in that deck without even having to play Albaz, given that there are cards like Nadir Serpent that can send him from the extra deck to the grave and still trigger his effect. I'm interested to see how the card kind of shakes out. Being a level 8 Dark Dragon gives it some really good typing, and it's generic enough that, you know, if you are trying to hard summon it, your opponent's going to have targets on the field for him. I definitely think it's a cool card to pick up. Right now it's around 30 bucks. Once the set actually drops, I think you'll see it settle a bit. Probably go down toward about 15, 20 bucks, and then depending on what type of play it sees, you could see it go back up. But I think a lot of that hinges on whether or not the player base ends up being fond of Fallen of Albaz and whether or not it actually sees play. Because if you're playing that, then this basically becomes a staple that lets you out almost anything. Overall, I definitely am hyped to get my hands on a couple copies of this card, and hopefully in our upcoming openings we'll pull one. We'll continue to take a look at Rise of the Duelist tomorrow, but thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good one.